brows should be your bestie. Beginning the brows with the ultimate brow balm by us, proud to have claimed this formula, launching very soon. The application of the base will vary depending on the chosen brow style, and because we have chosen a fluffy effect to these brows, we can't carve out the shape. Instead, we need to fluff the base into the brows to diffuse that product in without creating any harsh lines. Once you've provided a stencil outline of a barrier not to cross, we can then go ahead with the same application, building layers of the base across the eye. Now remember, you customize your own coverage with any product. If you're going for a soft style, then apply less. If you require that pigment, then honey, build up them layers with a pat to perfection. Okay, your base is supposed to be tacky. Never, I repeat, never use translucent powder over the base. This basically eliminates its benefits. Instead, see your shadows as a replacement of the powder and allow the base to do its damn job. We are now erasing out our shape. The base is going to be our outline, so we are basically giving ourselves a stencil shape to colour in later. The cut will be your safety net for a bulletproof application. This technique is insane for anyone who suffers with precision. Shaky hand, no longer an issue. You can see visibly what line you should not cross. I mean, it's a shame there isn't one for men. Instead of our usual technique of a darker blend and a brighter lid, we've reversed this technique. So instead we're using a white shadow from the Cancel palette as our blend, and this is going to enhance the deeper smoky tones of the paints that we're using to go ahead in and cut that crease with. This technique will help you master the art of creating a three-dimensional eye, almost making the makeup look printed onto the skin. Reaching for your P. Louise paints in Smoking Hot, Fee Black and some new paints in the making, we have patted these on to create distorted shapes arranged to mimic a tortoiseshell print like your favourite sunglasses. The paint must be laid on in super thin layers to create this effect, and you must work in a quick tapping motion to blur the edges of the different paint shades into one another before they set. Now remember that the paint set matte in 60 seconds, so hurry up. We are focusing on outlining the shape first using sharp brushes that give you that cutthroat finish, but remember, you are only as good as your tools, so pick wisely. We are using a P. Louise 125 angle brush to achieve these results. Although our focus is carving out the shape with our different paints, we are still ensuring they melt into one another, creating the perfect ombre outline, smudging the remaining product back into that lid space to make it easier when applying across the lid later. I am also living for the inner corner flick on this makeup. This technique has become more and more popular since the rise of TikTok tutorials, showcasing how to get those supermodel eyes requiring a smaller, more elongated wing to create the illusion of a sultry eye shape. Paired with an inner corner flick to add the elongation, pulling the eye shape out from corner to corner. This technique is executed perfectly dependent on your brush choice and product choice. You need a product that melts into one another that isn't too stiff. Shadow alone would not give you these results. Remember that your brushes are equally as important, and the ideal brushes for this technique must have a super fluffy texture to them. Anything too dense will never give you soft melted edges to your pattern. Remember, the denser the brush, the harsher the shape. We love the Morphe M506 to both apply the paint and blur out the edges, as it has a small tapered tip for detail work, but it is also fluffy enough to blend out a cream-based product. This same brush can also be used to apply your shadows over the top to intensify the shade and depth to your pattern. This makeup is all about layers. Layer different textures and tones to create dimension and give the illusion of a 3D shape. The patting motion will be your best friend. By patting over the area, you will blur the products into one another, creating an oil-like painting effect. Harsh lines will be the enemy in this application, so don't be so precise. Instead, pat freely to diffuse any harsh edges. Now remember, you want to deepen the tone in the centre of each of your splodges to intensify the pattern. You can do this by choosing darker shadows. Choose tones that will complement one another and that are easy to mix together to give a more desirable result. Then gonna go ahead and take the shadows, fabrication and mistakes from the Cancel palette. We are going to deepen the centre of our splodges and melt out the edges of the shapes into one another to add another level of dimension. Continue to repeat until you are satisfied with the results. This method can be applied to doing other prints such as cheetah or tie-dye, so the possibilities are endless. Not seeing results? Feel like giving up? Consider this. The last thing to grow on a fruit tree is the fruit. If you want it, work for it. I see so many people doubting themselves when watching this education series, so don't let the fear of what could happen make nothing happen. Celebrate the small wins. Myself and my team dedicate ourselves to answering all of your questions. If you need more education, ask below. Need product advice? Ask below. We've got you. Love always, your girl, P. Louise.